Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Kodi Samaprabha. Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarva Karyeshu Sarvada. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha. Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Apara Karuna Sindhum Jnanadham Shantarupinam Shri Chandrasekhara Gurum Pranamami Mudanvaham Tadam Devasi Varyancha Jeevodharana Tatparam Shri Jayendra Gurum Pujyam Pranamami Mudanvaham Chaturdashavaya Praptam Sanyasam Samahamatiam Namami Shankararambham Shivajendra Saraswati Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmatacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Swasti Vachanam Om Shri Kanchi Kamakoti Pithadipati Jagat Guru Shri Shankaracharya Shri Charanayoh Shri Pranamah Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Shri Maha Tirupura Sundari Sameta Shri Chandramoulishwaraya Namaha Swasti Stri Madakila Bhumandala Alankara Trayastrimsat Kodi Devata Sevita Kamakshi Devi Sanatha Sri Madhe Kamranatha Sri Mahadevi Sanatha Sri Hastigirinatha Sakshatkara Paramadhishtana Satyavrata Namangita Kanchi Divyakshetre Sharada Mata Sustitanam Atulita Sudarsa Madhurya Kamalasana Kamini Dhammilla Samphulla Mallika Malika Nishyanda Makaranda Jari Sauvastika Vangnigumba Vidrumbhanananda Dundilida Maneshi Mandalanam Anavarada Dvaita Vidya Vinodarasikhanam Nirantaralankriti Krita Shantidanti Bhumnam Shakala Bhavana Chakra Pratishthavaka Shri Chakra Pratishtha Vikhyati Asholankrthanam Nikhila Pashanda Shanda Kantakotpatanena Vishadikrita Veda Vedanta Marga Shanmata Pratishthavakacharyanam Srimad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Varya Shri Jagadguru Shri Shankara Bhagavat Padacharyanam Adhishtane Simhasana Visikta Shri Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Samyamindranam Adhishtane Simhasana Visikta Shri Chendra Saraswati Samyamindranam Ante Vasivarya Shri Shankara Vijendra Saraswati Shri Padanancha Charananayoham Saprachayam Sanjali Baddhancha Namaskurmaha. Hariyo. On behalf of Kanchi Kamakoti Seva Foundation, Midwest Chapter, I welcome you all to this month's Kamakoti Parayana Mandali program on this auspicious Chitra Amavasya day, with Shankara Jayanti following 5 days from now. Namaskarams to all viewers who have joined us on the live stream and our chapter's YouTube and Facebook channels. As many of you are aware, Kamakoti Parayana Mandali program began a couple of years ago with the blessings of Sri Periva, and we have been having regular monthly satsangams covering lecture talks from varied list of topics from our Sanatana Dharma. It has also featured Saundarya Lahari Parayanam, Tirupagad Bhajans, and children from our Shankara Bala Vihar chanting slokas composed by Adi Shankara. To call out a few. Began a couple of years ago with the blessings of Sri Periva. For today's program, we welcome Shri Ravi Chandran, who will be giving a lecture talk on Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. So before I go into the introduction, I also want to make an announcement. So as many of you might be already aware, on April 30th, we are having the SDPA 2 slokas. It's a global event happening all over the world, and which will be graced by our Periva. So please watch out for emails and please plan to join us for the program. It's being held at Sai Spiritual Community Center at North Lake on April 30th, Sunday, starting at 8:30 a.m. in the morning. So an introduction on our guest speaker today, Shri Ravi Chandran ji. He has been in the Chicago area for more than 4 decades. His interest in Vedanta started in he was introduced to Vedanta in 2011 when he was introduced to Swami Paramarthananda's teachings. And also, he also attended the Bhagavad Gita classes at the Hindu temple of Greater Chicago, Lemont. Since then, he has listened to many of Swami Paramarthananda's classes, including Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, and other Vedantic topics. He continues to study Vedanta under the guidance of Swami Paramarthananda and gets Swamiji's blessings in person whenever he visits Chennai. He believes that one way to keep studying Vedanta and Shastra is to share the knowledge with other like-minded students. He has been helping and organizing classes at the Lemont Hindu Temple until the pandemic, and since then, he has been broadcasting Swamiji's classes online every Sunday morning. He also publishes class notes to Swami Paramarthananda's classes at the websites, the advaitam.com website. Without much further ado, I pass it on to Shri Ravi Chandran ji. Hari Om.
Sadasivasamarambaam Sankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Parambaram. My namaskarams to Guru Parambara, starting from Lord Shiva through Adi Sankaracharya and up to my Guru Swami Paramarthananda. I am very glad that you have come here to watch this presentation and for showing interest in Vedanta. I am hopeful this presentation will help you in your spiritual pursuit. At the end of this presentation, I'll give you some information regarding resources available for studying Vedanta and information on Swami Paramarthananda's classes. I am not an expert in Vedanta or Sanskrit, so please forgive any mistakes I may make. I have tried to make this a visual presentation. I think that will make the presentation better organized and hopefully more useful. Now we will go to the presentation. And the slides in full screen. Hopefully the technology will work. As I mentioned in the prayer, Swami Paramarthananda is my guru, and I have listened to his classes on Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and other topics. In many of these classes, Swami Paramarthananda emphasizes the importance of Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. This presentation is a compilation of his teachings about Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti in those classes. Some of you may know that Swami Paramarthananda teaches the philosophy of Advaitam in his classes, and this presentation may reflect those teachings of Advaitic philosophies. However, I believe those teachings or this presentation or the principles of Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti can be applied to other philosophies and probably some disciplines as well. Improving Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti will improve our daily life as well as our spiritual life. In this presentation, I will present what is Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti or fourfold qualifications. Fourfold qualifications are discrimination, dispassion, discipline, and desire. Swamiji calls them 4Ds. One of those four qualifications is discipline or Samaadi Shatka Sampatti or 6 disciplines. This is an important qualification and we will see that in detail. Then we will see what are the benefits of Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. How does that help us? How does that help our daily life and our spiritual life? And then we will see what are the obstacles in assimilating Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. Just like when you drive a car, you may run into a speed bump or slow traffic. We will face some obstacles when we try to incorporate Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti in our daily life. We will see what those obstacles may be. And then we will also see what are the remedies to overcome those obstacles. Just like when you encounter a slow traffic, you take a different route or take some other measure. we may be able to take some remedies to overcome the obstacles. We will see those. Swamiji has presented some ways of incorporating, practicing some of these sadhanas. Then I will discuss those at the end. To understand the importance of Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, we start at the beginning. What is the purpose of our human life? What are our goals? Our scriptures say that all humans have four goals: Artha, Kama, Dharma, and Moksha. The first goal, Artha, refers to basic needs of food, clothing, shelter, and health. These are necessary for our physical survival and well-being. The second goal, Kama, encompasses all the comforts and pleasures that bring enjoyment, entertainment to our life. We don't need these for our security, but we use them to enjoy our life. Most objects we use in our life are to satisfy this goal. Kama is comfort, enjoyment, and entertainment. The third goal, Dharma, is the invisible results or punyam that brings us good luck in this janma and contributes to a better life in future janma. These first three goals are considered a parent goal or prayas because they do not provide complete freedom or permanent happiness. They are limited in their benefits and can also create bondage or addiction, leading to sorrow when we lose them. The fourth goal, moksha or liberation, is the only real goal or shreyas because that alone can provide complete freedom, complete and permanent freedom. Moksha alone can give us purnatvam and permanent freedom. How do we get moksha? To get moksha, we get jnana or knowledge. To get jnanam, we must study the scriptures under a competent guru for an extended period of time. Swamiji emphasizes that all three are important: study of scriptures, competent guru, and extended period of time. There is no crash course to get jnana. Obtaining jnanam or knowledge through the study of scriptures and a competent guru is essential, but it is not enough for one to achieve moksha or permanent freedom. This is where Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti comes in. It helps us bridge the gap between knowledge and liberation. Scriptures and guru can only lead us to jnanam or knowledge. They will not be able to give us jnanapalam or moksha. We cannot go to a college and get a degree for moksha. To get the benefits of knowledge, we must improve our level of Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti or fourfold qualification or the four qualifications. In Karikas to Mandukya Upanishad, Gaudapadacharya emphasizes the importance of giving maximum effort to Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. As you can see in this slide, Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti is in the middle between jnanam and moksha, knowledge and liberation. We need to improve our Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti to obtain the ultimate goal, the liberation or permanent freedom or moksha. The four qualifications are Viveka, Vairagyam, Samaadi Shatka Sampatti, and Mumukshutvam, or the four Ds: discrimination, dispassion, discipline, and desire. First qualification is Viveka or discrimination. Viveka is the ability to differentiate between what is permanent and what is temporary, what is real and what is unreal. Our ability to recognize the superiority of moksha or liberation over temporary goals of dharma, artha, kama is viveka. It allows us to understand the difference between what is real and what is unreal, and to see that true happiness and security cannot be found in temporary and impermanent objects. By cultivating viveka, we can avoid the disappointment and sorrow that comes from seeking fulfillment in transient possessions, and instead focus on what truly brings lasting happiness and freedom. Swamiji gives an example of a decorated cardboard chair. We can decorate a cardboard chair and apply all kinds of ornaments and paints. We can appreciate the beauty of the decorated cardboard chair, but we cannot sit on the chair. If you sit on the chair, it will fall. Similarly, we cannot depend on the temporary and transient objects. Temporary objects cannot provide the lasting support and fulfillment we truly desire. By cultivating Viveka, we can recognize the true value and seek what is truly permanent and real. Second qualification is Vairagyam or dispassion. Vairagyam is eliminating dharma kama and enjoying dharma kama in moderation. What do you mean by that? Kama is desires or action or wants. Adharma kama refers to actions that are prohibited by scriptures. These actions are often related to sensory pleasures and considered harmful or immoral. It's important to have vairagyam or detachment and avoid engaging adharma kama. For example, committing acts of violence is prohibited by the scriptures. It's prohibited by everywhere. And it is important to have the discipline and self-control to refrain from such actions. It is essential to cultivate the sense of morality and live by the principles laid out in the scriptures and lead a fulfilling and meaningful life. Dharma kama are sensory pleasures that are allowed by the scriptures. However, we should remember moderation is the key when it comes to indulging in these pleasures. For example, we need to eat, we need to consume food to nourish the body, but scriptures recommend moderation in eating habits. Similarly, certain sensory pleasures may be allowed. It is important to exercise self-control and not allow these pleasures to become unhealthy or excessive. In our daily life, we should develop and cultivate dharma kama. The developed dharma kama should then be used to reduce and eventually eliminate all adharma kamas. For example, let us say someone is struggling with alcoholic addiction. That person can cultivate a healthy, more fulfilling activity like meditation or yoga. Use that healthier activity to eliminate the addiction to alcohol. By gradually displacing or replacing the desire for adharma kama with dharma kama, we should eventually eliminate all adharma kama. Dispassion or vairagyam is the absence of desire for the enjoyment of the results of our actions. Development of vairagyam requires reducing dependence on all materialistic needs. We should note that vairagyam does not mean hating or minimizing the purpose of dharma, artha, kama, but understanding that they are only a means to an end. Vedanta considers any addiction to be an Vedanta considers any addiction to be an obstacle to knowledge. Even addiction to Vedanta can prove to be an obstacle in the pursuit of moksha. Growing out of dharma, artha, kama requires vairagyam. Development of vairagyam also requires ahangara, mamagara, tyagam. What are they? What is ahangara and what is mamagara? Ahangara is lower I or ego. The lower I is the sariratrayam or the three bodies, stula sariram, sukshma sariram, and karana sariram, or physical body, subtle body, or causal body. Ahangara tyagam is understanding that our physical body is temporary and not our true identity. Mamakara can be external or internal. External is all the things we possess. So practicing Mamakara tyagam means renouncing all possessions. Renouncing external possessions mean that we give up everything and become a monk or sannyasi. But this is not compulsory or necessary. It is not necessary for all of us to become sannyasi to get moksha or assimilate sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Internal renunciation involves being mentally prepared to lose anything at any time. This means we are not attached to anything for an extended period of time, and we are willing to give it up at the appropriate time. This is important for moksha. We have seen the first two qualifications, Viveka and Vairagya. Now we will see the third qualification. Third qualification is Samaadi Shatka Sampatti, or 6 inner disciplines. These are the personal assets we all possess and that are necessary for lasting peace and liberation or moksha. These 6 inner disciplines are samaha or mental tranquility. Samaha refers to the mind that is free from stress and strain. Having peaceful mind is essential for understanding and practicing Vedanta. When our mind is troubled or preoccupied with other worries, it becomes difficult to fully stay focused and absorb any teachings. Therefore, cultivating a state of samaha or mental tranquility is necessary for effectively studying, applying Vedanta in our life. This involves managing stress and finding inner peace and focus on Vedantic teaching. Damaha, or sensory control, is the second discipline. This means being able to control our sense organs willingly and deliberately. Our sense organs are the entry point to our mind, and if they are not controlled, anything can enter the mind and cause internal disturbances and addiction to sensory pleasures. If you are addicted to sensory pleasures, then there may not be any time for Vedanta. So harmony and control over sensory organs is necessary to assimilate Vedantic concepts. Vedanta does not require suppressing our sense organs, but rather regulating them in a deliberate and willful way. For examples, Vedanta does not ask us to stop eating, but it does require us being able to control what, when, and how much we eat in order to lead a healthy life. Uparamaha is the third discipline. Uparamaha is to live a spiritual life. Sri Adi Sankaracharya defines Uparamaha as the strict observance of our own duties. Lord Krishna elaborates Niyata karma, which are Nitya karma and Naimitya karma, throughout Bhagavad Gita, and especially in chapter 18. Nitya karmas are compulsory, and we must continue to perform these duties. Panchamahayajna is one of the Nitya karma. These duties are compulsory and necessary to maintain the infrastructure of the society. Naimitya karma are duties we perform as part of being a member of a community or a society. Examples are attending a wedding or a funeral. These karmas may not be obligatory, but we perform as a contribution to the society. We perform these actions for the benefit of our friends, relatives, the community, and the society. We should continue to perform and complete these obligations to the society. Kamya karma are actions performed with the intention of gaining materialistic benefit. For example, performing a puja for a better job, which should reduce and eventually eliminate kamya karma. Prayachitta karma is the practice of performing rituals or acts compensate a negative action or a wrongdoing. These karmas neutralize our negative actions. We can reduce and eliminate prayachitta karma by reducing and eliminating wrong actions. Nishiddha karma are actions that are forbidden and prohibited. These actions are harmful and immoral and therefore are not allowed. These include harming others, engaging in dishonest or deceitful behavior. We should not commit any Nisiddha karma. So Uparamaha is increasing Niyata karma and gradually reducing and eventually eliminating Kamya karma, Prayachitta karma, and Nisiddha karma. Uparamaha is about living a life by focusing on performing selfless action, fulfilling our obligations to the society, and reducing and eventually eliminating actions that are driven by personal gains or that are harmful or those that are immoral. This discipline is important for our spiritual growth and for developing a sense of inner peace and contentment. So far, we have seen three of the 6 disciplines: Samaha, Damaha, and Uparamaha. Tidiksha is the 4th discipline. Tidiksha is endurance, patience, and forbearance. Tidiksha is the physical and mental capacity to be indifferent to all experiences, good and bad. We must have the same attitude towards bad experiences as we do towards good experiences. We can increase Tidiksha by 2 ways. One is by increasing the threshold or endurance for physical pain. Some of the ways to increase our endurances are practice habits like fasting or going to pilgrimage, etc. The second way is to improve patience. Reduce mental agony by reducing the expectations from external world, friends, relatives, and other objects. Shraddha, or faith, or trust, is the fifth discipline. We should develop and maintain faith in the scriptures and the Guru teaching the scriptures. Samadhanam, or concentration, or focusing power, is the sixth discipline. Concentration includes both short-term and long-term goals. Short-term goals are freedom from distraction. Long-term goal is moksha. We should be clear that our primary goal in life is moksha. Once that is established, we should always remember that goal and concentrate on achieving that goal. These six disciplines are our own internal assets. We should develop and maintain and improve these internal assets and improve our Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. So far, we have seen 3 Ds: discrimination, dispassion, and discipline. The fourth qualification is mumukshutvam, or desire. Mumukshutvam is choosing Shreyas as the primary objective. This means we prioritize the pursuit of permanent happiness and security over the temporary pleasures and material goals. To have mumukshutvam means to have an intense desire for moksha, for liberation, and setting moksha as the primary goal in life. It means wanting to be free from the cycle of samsara and the suffering that it brings. It means wanting to overcome the fear of death and the unknown. To have mumukshutvam requires a strong commitment to the difficult journey of spiritual growth and self-improvement, including and accumulating and assimilating knowledge and developing the necessary qualification and ultimately achieving the liberation or moksha. Does Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti help? Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti helps us grow spiritually. Earlier we saw that we should study Shastra, scriptures, for an extended period of time under a competent guru. When we begin our journey, we start as a Mandadhikari. A Mandadhikari or a beginning student has low Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. The student may have studied Vedanta, but have not yet gained the full knowledge or understanding or the full benefit of it. Moksha, for a Mandadhikari, moksha is at the bottom of the list of desires. However, as the student continues to study the Shastras and clarify the doubts, the student may gain a deeper understanding of Vedic concepts. A Mandadhikari progresses to Madhyamadhikari by cultivating Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. Madhyamadhikari has studied the scriptures and acquired Jnana. However, a Madhyamadhikari does not get Jnana Palam or the benefit of knowledge because Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti is not complete. At this stage, Jnanam is functional but not integrated into life. Moksha becomes a top priority at this point for the student. A Mandadhikari progresses to Madhyamadhikari, and from there he or she progresses to Uttamadhikari. Uttamadhikari has assimilated Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti and acquired Jnanam and Jnanapalam. Moksha is not only becomes a top priority, but it is the only desire. It eats up all other desires. The desire for moksha becomes stronger and becomes an obsession. In the end, there is only one priority, and that is moksha. In summary, Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti is a set of 4 qualifications that help us grow spiritually. It includes studying the scriptures under a competent guru, developing vairagyam or dispassion towards sensory pleasures, cultivating the 6 inner disciplines of Samaadi Shatka Sampatti, and having the desire for liberation or mumukshutva. By improving our Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, we can progress from being a beginning student or Mandadhikari to an intermediate student or Madhyamadhikari, or eventually to an Uttamadhikari who has assimilated the knowledge and gained the benefits of it. Ultimately, Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti helps us achieve Jnanapalam or moksha. As we try to cultivate the 4 qualities of Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, we may encounter some obstacles. I will discuss a few here. and these are the ones discussed by Swamiji in some of his classes. One of the obstacles is layaha, or dullness. This is caused by an inactive or dull mind due to laziness or tamoguna. Some of the reasons for layaha are not getting enough sleeps, overeating, or engaging in too much physical activity, just doing too much. To overcome layaha, it is important to follow healthy eating habits by not eating until we are full and leaving some room in our stomach for digestion. We should also develop healthy sleeping habits and make sure we allocate enough time to sleep every day. Another obstacle is vikshepitam, which is wandering mind that is focused on worldly desires dominated by rajoguna. To overcome vikshepitam, practice vairagyam. We saw earlier, vairagyam is the detachment or controlling our addictions to sensory pleasures. Vairagyam is remembering the temporary and fleeting nature of our sensory pleasures, as well as the sorrow and bondage that they can bring. Sensual pleasures can be tempting, but it is important to remember that the intensity of the pain we feel when we lose them is often directly proportional to the intensity of pleasure we feel when we acquire them and enjoy them. We should recognize that the pleasures that these objects bring is temporary, often accompanied by sorrow, bondage, addiction, even slavery. By remembering the drawbacks of sensory pleasures and turning our minds away from the addiction to them, we can cultivate a sense of detachment and find true peace and contentment within ourselves. Another obstacle we may encounter is kashaya, or stagnant mind. This is often caused by raga dvesha. Raga dvesha is attachment to what we like. Raga is attachment to what we like, and dvesha is aversion to the things we do not like. Raga and dvesha fill our mind with emotions. Mind becomes cluttered and distracted, making it difficult to focus on spiritual study and growth. To overcome obstacles, it is important to work on developing vairagyam, or detachment, by letting go of the attachments and aversions and finding peace and contentment within ourselves. This will allow the mind to become quiet and open, allowing us to more fully engage in Vedantic studies and spiritual practices. Now we will see some of the sadhanas we should practice. We should try to incorporate as many of these sadhanas in our daily life. The ultimate goal is to make these practices and sadhanas an integral part of our life, and as we progress towards Uttamadhikari. The three groups of sadhanas I will discuss here are spiritual studies, Niyata Karma, and Ashtanga Yoga. Spiritual studies is at the top of the list. If our goal is moksha or liberation, then we should have the knowledge or jnana. Vedic scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, and Upanishad have many pearls of wisdom, and it is a necessary study for any spiritual pursuit. They also have many practical guidance for our daily life. As we saw earlier, we need a competent guru who is well versed in Vedic philosophies and studies. Swami Paramarthananda is my guru, and his teachings have been very valuable to me. All of his classes are available in recordings, and there is also a very convenient app. Choose a guru you like, but select a guru. It is difficult to study Vedic Vedanta without the guidance of a guru. Once a guru is selected, allocate time to study and understand the Vedic philosophies and scriptures. It does take time to learn and grasp the values. It does take time to learn and grasp the Vedas, and there is no crash course. It takes time to fully comprehend, resolve all doubts, and embrace Vedic philosophy with conviction. The second set of sadhanas are Niyata Karma. Lord Krishna discusses Niyata Karma in chapter 18 of Bhagavad Gita, and I discussed that as part of Uparamaha, spiritual living, earlier. Uparamaha is one of the important disciplines that we must acquire. Just to refresh, Niyata Karma are actions acquired and they contribute to the benefit of the society. We must continue to perform these duties and obligations. There are many niyata karma, but here we will see three important niyata karma: Dhanam or charity, Tapaha, and Panchamahayajna. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna discusses Dhanam in many places. Dhanam is sharing resources voluntarily. Sharing resources voluntarily resolves economic disparity. Lord Krishna encourages Sattvic Dhanam, which is Dhanam to a deserving person at proper time and proper place without expecting anything in return. Tapaha is willful self-denial to establish mastery over sense organs, body, and mind. There are three types of tapaha: Kaigam or physical, Vasikam or verbal, Manasam mental. Examples of Kaiga or physical practices are fasting, abstaining from certain foods or pleasures, or engaging in physical and demanding activities. Examples of Vasika tapas are repeating mantras or reciting scriptures, and Manasa tapas would be doing the same mentally. These three categories represent the different ways in which we can engage self-discipline and self-control to achieve spiritual growth, improve our endurance, and prepare our mind for spiritual studies and moksha. Pancha are five practices we are required to perform, maintain, and improve the community infrastructure. Pitruyajna is a reverence to our immediate parents and forefathers. We must honor the memories and contributions of our forefathers and seek their blessings. Manusha Yajna is the reverential attitude towards other humans. We should perform civic acts that help those in need and cultivate a sense of compassion and selflessness. Buddha Yajna is a reverential attitude towards all other living beings, respecting the animals and plants, in other words, the environment and the earth. Deva Yajna is a reverential attitude towards the Lord. It is a way to thank the continued protection and guidance. Deva Yajna is to help purify the mind and the body and bring one closer to the divine. Brahma Yajna is the reverential attitude towards scriptures. It includes preserving the scriptures and paying tributes to the Guru Parampara for handing down the scriptural knowledge for many generations. These Panchamahayajna, well, as you can see, these Panchamahayajna go from micro to macro, from reverential attitude towards our immediate relatives, and then to the community, and then to the earth, and then to the universe, and finally to the infinite, the Brahman. The Panchamahayajna is an important part of our life, and performing these five yajnas will greatly purify our mind. Ashtanga Yoga is described in the text Yoga Sutras by Rishi Patanjali. It consists of 8 steps, each step progressively refining our personality. Each step refines one layer of our personality. In Vedantic and spiritual pursuit, Ashtanga Yoga is used to prepare ourselves for attaining jnana. Ashtanga Yoga is also taught for material life, for conditioning our physical body. Here we will discuss how Ashtanga Yoga can prepare us for jnana. Yama and Niyama are practiced throughout the day and are general preparations. Asana, Pranayama, and Pratyahara are specific preparations. Dharana, Dhyanam, and Samadhi are the final steps of meditation. The first two of the Ashtanga Yoga are Yamaha and Niyama. Yamaha means control, restraint, and avoidance. We should follow these 5 moral codes with resolve and commitment. Using common sense norms, we can arrive at all these values. The common sense norm is that what you don't want others to do to you, you do not do to others. The 5 moral codes are ahimsa, avoidance of violence done to others, starting with human beings, extending to animals, plants. We should avoid violence of any kind, physical, verbal, and mentally psychological. Satyam, truthfulness. There should be harmony between our words, knowledge, and motive. What we say should be in line with our knowledge and motive. Astheyam, non-stealing. Stealing is not just stealing wealth. It includes any unfair transaction. Giving up all unfair transaction is astheyam. Brahmacharyam. Avoid inappropriate relationship with male-female transactions at physical, verbal, and mental level. Aparigraha. Avoid hoarding or accumulation of possessions. Do not possess beyond limit or need. After limiting possessions, we should not develop possessiveness towards those limited possessions. Niyama or 5 discipline or 5 practices are Saucham, cleanliness, purity. This includes both internal and external purity or physical purity. Focus on physical purity first, then later focus on inner purity. External purity includes orderliness. Everything should have a place and everything must be kept in its place. Internal purity is maintenance of healthy thinking, avoidance of fear, etc. Lord Krishna details internal purity as the Devi Sampat and avoidance as Asuri Sampat in Bhagavad Gita chapter 16. Sandosham, contentment, satisfaction. That is the second niyama. This must be developed at all levels. Produce more, consume less. Then you are contributing to the society, and that is Karma Yoga. Note that without Sandosham, Dhanam cannot take place. You may not feel like doing charity work when you don't feel content. Tapaha, that is the third niyama. Willful self-denial to establish mastery over sense organs, body, and mind. Avoiding addictions to enjoyment. This self-denial should be voluntary, not imposed. Swadhyayam, spiritual studies. Systematic study of scriptures is an important sadhana. Isvara Pranidhana. Look upon every experience in life as God's manifestation. Every action is a karma pala. Behind every karma palam, there are laws of karma. When we don't accept karma palam, it will create unhealthy emotions, frustrations, and hatred. Asana is the third Ashtanga Yoga. Asana includes posture in which we sit for dhyanam, as well as the seat and surroundings where we are seated. Lord Krishna details them in chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita. Pranayama is regulating prana or breathing. By regulating breathing, we can regulate both our annamaya or physical body and manomaya or psychological body. This will result in tranquil mind. With a steady mind, we can practice meditation. Pratyahara is sensory withdrawal, withdrawing all sense organs. This is also Damaha, which we saw as one of the 6 disciplines earlier. Dharana is focusing or fixing the mind on a chosen object of meditation, taking the mind away from all other objects of the world. Our mind has many preoccupations. Taking minds away from the world is dharana. Dhyanam is a flow of singular thought. Krishna defines dhyanam as non-flickering steady flame. The 8th and final stage is samadhi or absorption. At this point, we have completed the broad preparation, specific preparation, and our mind is free from all preoccupations. And it has a single flow of thought, and our mind is fully absorbed in meditation. We incorporate the sadhanas in our life. How do we improve our Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti? Swamiji has suggested one way in one of his classes. I propose that we follow that method. In this slide, I have resulted 20 of the practices we discussed. Make a resolve to practice every one of them one by one for a period of time, say a month. You can do a week, month, or whatever it chooses. We will take ahimsa as an example. In this example, resolve to practice ahimsa for a month. Take a precautionary measure to avoid factors which may result in the violation of the resolve. Remember, the precautions are within our capacity, but the consequences are not. Some of the precautionary methods for ahimsa are avoiding violent media, cultivating empathy, and mindful of words we use. When the precaution fails, practice restraint and avoid escalation of the situation. For ahimsa, this will include active listening and self-control. At the end of each day, write down each violation on a notebook. For each violation, write Om Namo Gurubhyaya Namaha 10 times, or Om Namo Narayanaya, or Om Namah Shivaya. Write any of them 10 times, 5 times, whatever you feel like. But the point is, you monitor how many times you violated that resolve. Writing the Guru's name will serve as a prayachita, reduce violation. Our goal should be keep reducing the number of violations each day and eventually eliminate the violation. Study the significance of commandments during the month. For example, during Ahimsa month, collect as many writings as possible about Ahimsa. Study those writings. Study the damage control methods suggested to avoid anger in those studies, and try to practice them to reduce your anger. Do this for all the resolves. You can pick any one of the 20. Ultimately, hopefully, we'll pick all 20 of them, and that should eventually lead to assimilating Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. Hope this helps, and I hope this presentation to helpful you on your spiritual journey. Now I will present some of the resources available for studying Vedanta. I have given my email address at the lower right-hand corner. Please feel free to contact me if you need more details on any of these resources. Swamiji has given a list of his classes in the order in which he suggests that a student study Vedanta. This is the first page of that document. The very first class is the Introduction of Vedanta, and one of Swamiji's students has published notes to this class in the form of a book. Some of you may have seen this book. If you would like to have a copy of this book, please send me an email. If you live within the continental United States, I will send you a copy. Tattvabodha is the second class suggested by Swamiji. Tattvabodha is fundamental to Vedantic study, and some of the subjects are also covered in the Introduction to Vedanta. Swamiji always emphasizes the study and understanding of Bhagavad Gita, and he says it is very important for a Vedantic student to study Bhagavad Gita. Swamiji has taught Bhagavad Gita in 244 one-hour classes. So it takes a significant investment in time, but I believe it is a necessity for a serious Vedantic student. Bhagavad Gita gives you many practical solutions to our daily life. I recommend listening to at least the summary of Bhagavad Gita as taught by Swamiji, which is 22 one-hour classes. For a beginner in Vedanta, I recommend following this sequence of classes. Swamiji systematically introduces Vedantic concepts, and if you follow this sequence, it may make it easier to study Vedanta. Swamiji is an excellent teacher and teaches in simple English and has a subtle sense of humor. As I mentioned earlier, Swamiji's teachings have helped me very much. There are 3 levels of courses in Swamiji's suggestions, and after the completion of these 3 levels, there are many other classes. All those classes are listed in this document. Another resource that is available is the Sunday broadcast. I have been broadcasting Sunday classes every Sunday starting at 8:45 a.m. Chicago time. These broadcasts follow Swamiji's suggested courses as discussed earlier. Currently, we are on the 6th class on level 1. That class is Sadhana Panchagam. These classes are 1 hour long and are open to all, and everyone is welcome. If you would like to participate, you can sign in through free conference call and use the meeting ID Vedanta. If you need more information, please send me an email. Another resource available is Shastra Prakashika app. Almost all of Swamiji's classes are available in this app. You can download this app at Google Play or Apple Store. This app is free, but there is a nominal charge for classes. If you need more information, please contact me. Advaitam.com is a website where we publish class notes to Swami Paramarthananda's classes. These notes are written by students who have participated in our Sunday classes. If you would like to publish your notes on Swamiji's classes, please contact me. Please also feel free to visit the website and review the notes for any class that you may be interested in. This concludes my presentation on Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. Hope you find this helpful in your pursuit of Vedantic studies. Please feel free to send me your comments and thoughts. Thank you for watching this video. Namaste.
Hari Om. Thank you, Shri Ravi Chandran ji, for a wonderful presentation on Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, the topic today. And thanks for all the resources and links that you provided. So we'll hopefully all of us can benefit from this, and who are beginners can start their Vedanta teaching, and who are in their learning or advanced courses can also, I think everyone can benefit from this. Thank you very much for your time today. So as mentioned in the beginning of the program, the Sahasradhala Padma Aradhana program, two, we had one 3 years ago, and this one was long overdue. It was delayed due to the pandemic. And we are now having it on April 30th, 2 Sundays from now, second Sunday from now, at Sri Sai Cultural Center in North Lake. So it's a global program coordinated across various KKSF centers around the world. And we expect the reward to be present and grace and bless all the attendees. So please attend, and please respond or to an RSVP so that we know who will be coming. So thank you everyone for all those who joined the live stream and YouTube and Facebook channels. Thank you, and look forward to seeing you all in the next Kamakoti Parayana Mandali program. Hari Om.
நமஸ்காரம் ஸ்ரீராம் முடிஞ்சதா?
முடிஞ்சிருது.
சாரி, எனக்கு இன்டர்நெட்டே போயிடுது. அதுல
still on live. Hold on, I think.
ஆமா, ஓகே, எஸ், I'll stop it.
The recording has stopped.